Hello, Dave here. I'm in Stockton-on-Tees, my hometown. I'm just making a little video to document this church. The reason why I was documenting a church the other side of Stockton a couple of days ago, and what I wanted to highlight is that the church had low levels. Now this end of this high street, it's off the high street, it's on Norton Road. Now what I want to show before I get into the church really is this area has buried levels, because if I swing round to these buildings here that are empty at the moment, you can see the tops of windows. Now them windows would have been the same length as them, but as you can see it's just the top that's showing. Now we'll just move along a bit, because what you have to remember as well, with these hidden levels, buried levels, you have the length of that window there. That window that you can see the top of there is the same length. So that gives you some idea how much is buried. But it's the same with any home. When you have your bottoms of your windows, which you do here, the bottom of your door is always a lot lower, because you go through your door and the windows are usually up off the street to stop rubbish and things, you know, blowing against your windows. So before I get into the church, I just want to point out this whole row. I've been right along here. The whole lot has buried levels. Now the problem is, you can't find anywhere in history books that tells you the reason why the whole town has buried levels. Now this isn't in Stockton, just in Stockton. It's all over the world this has happened. And at the moment, you know, I've documented a few towns in this country and a couple of small cities in Holland, and they're all the same. They all have these unexplainable low levels. You see, you don't build houses with half your window at street level. Your windows are always well above the street level. Your door's usually at street level to get in. So, let's say you take into account the length of them windows, then the base of the door is below that. You know, you may be talking about 10 foot at least that's buried, but there's no explanation how the whole town has become buried in 10 foot of whatever. So anyway, on to the church. Let's see what we can find in there. Right, into church we go. But before I do, you know, I've just shown you about the buried windows. So chances are this church has got buried levels as well. Right, let's go up the road. First thing that I do notice with these churches now, the first thing that I direct my attention to, and that's the roofs. And that's the roofs because synonymous with quite a lot of these type of buildings, you have your windows in your roofs. You also have a very nice antenna on the back there. Now just first glances of these churches, 1846 I think this was built supposedly, but I think it's a lot earlier than that. All these windows, the new grey brickwork, I do think these are a later addition. I don't believe these original buildings had glass in them as such. If you clicked onto this to see a religious, you know, video about churches, it isn't. You know, I have a very strange view on churches, and with this one, sorry.
You okay? Can I go?
Yes, that's fine. Sorry. Just with this one, there's a couple of features that, you know, I'd really like to point out, and that is all these window frames look very new to me. Oh, I think there's a service on. I'll move around the side. Let's have a quick look along the side, and I'll see if I can get round the side, because there's people coming out and I don't want to, you know, be a pain. But one thing I'll be able to show you around the side is, and that is what I'll possibly come round to the front here once everyone's gone. But what I want to click on straight away from this side, which gets me straight away, is the slit windows. It's another feature that I think the concept when religion took over these buildings, they put glass in these. I don't think the glass is original. I really don't. Another thing I want to point out around the corner here, once I get away from people, you'll find this on most churches. It's what I call a skirting board. The skirting board that you have in the inside of your house. That little bit of wood that tidies up the area between the bottom of the wall and the floor usually. Now, this little bulge that runs round what I call the skirting board is a later addition. Now, I have seen a church in Scarborough where that's missing, the skirting. And what it does actually show is beautiful brickwork, stonework like this, but built on top of red brick foundation. So this little bit of a skirting board that goes around the bottom here, I think it's a later addition. It's to cover up, you know, whatever's down there really. I haven't looked in this church, but I dare say it has a crypt. The other thing I want to point out on this side really is, it's a theory I'm working on at the moment, but these air bricks in the wall, quite often find them down at ground level, but also higher up as well. And I think there's a reason for that, but I need to do a bit more research on that. And really the side of this church is, oh shit, just fell over, pretty uneventful, but I'll get to this door and try and move back and show you the type of carvings. See, as I've mentioned with other videos, the archway does not look proportionate to the door. You know, archways are usually the top third of a door, top quarter of a door, where this archway is almost half the door. But that's just my thoughts. Moving up a bit, that's a later addition, I would say, definitely. The statue, you know, religious touch on it maybe. And I can't get any further back really, but if I can get up the top there, you can see the synonymous portholes. A lot of churches, what they do is stick a clock in there and give you the impression that it was put in there in the early 1800s when it wasn't. Right, I'll see if I can get around the front now. People have moved out the way a bit. So it's just documenting this church. Hopefully I can see things when I rewatch it back over. And also people pick up on things that I miss. There's some real creepy dudes around this door as well, but I might have to put the still pictures on because I don't want to be filming people coming out of church. It's a beautiful church inside by the looks of it. But, you know, why are these slits necessary in the church? It's just a question I'm asking. You know, you have one window, then a bricked up one, then another one, then a bricked up one, then another one. What's all that about? I don't believe the glass was in there originally either. So, like I said, I'd really love to go in this church, but there's something going on. I don't want to poke my nose in. But this doorway, if I can quickly, before people come out. I just want to have a look at these. It almost looks like a bishop's mitre on the top of that one. And that one. It's exactly the same. So it's in this skirting board that I'll talk about. This is it here, this bit that sticks out. You know, these columns that you see on most churches, they usually have a little funny top on or a sloping roof. They look like support columns, but I don't believe they are. So really, that's St Mary's Roman Catholic Church in a nutshell. People coming out now, so I'll have to move my camera away. Just have a little look at the gardens here. Because I'd really like to get another view of the roof here. Slowly move up. See, on these type of Norman looking churches, you usually have gargoyles on these corners. But the substitute they've done for something else. Another one of Stockton's many churches that the Victorians claim to have built. But my research, my sceptical mind, they're only researching Stockton, but Scarborough, Whitby, and a couple of places in Holland. So anyway, Telltale events. I'll wrap that one up for you. I'll see if I can just have a little look back up from the gate. I don't like to get people in the shots. Let's have a quick look at this beautiful church building. So there you have it, St Mary's Church, and it's buried level, because I'm sure if I read into this there will be some sort of crypt in here. But anyhow, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.